In this project, we'll be using a set of 5 LEDs to create bicycle lights. Basically, depending how many times we've clicked, so if we clicked once, the lights will stay on. If we click for the second time, the lights will flash. If we click for the third time, we will get blinking LEDs across the board. Okay, looking at the code for our bicycle light, we want to set up our 5 output LED pins, and we need 1 input pin for our button. Once this is done, we now need to create a counter for how many times the button has been pressed. We do this with a digital read on the button, and basically if the digital read equals high, that means the button is being pressed. And every time the button is pressed, we want to increment the counter by 1 and delay for a second. Once this is done, we use our new function called switch case, which is basically an if-else, which takes the variable of our count and compares it to all the cases within the statement. So for example, the first line, case 1, if press count equals case 1, then run this line of code. If it doesn't match that one, it will try case 2, case 3, and so forth. So for our first time coming in, we're obviously going to hit case 1. So in this bit, we check if the button's being pressed again. If it is, then we don't want to run any of the code within this part. We want to go back to the beginning. So we do this with a digital read again on the button. If it's high, then we use a function called break, which takes us out of this switch case function and returns us to the start of our void loop. But if the button's not being pressed, then we just turn on all our LEDs and break out of this statement and start again. We press the button for the second time, and then we do another check quickly on the button. If it's not being pressed, then we turn all our LEDs on, delay for 100 milliseconds, and turn them all off. Third time round, we will come in and we will turn each LED on and off across the board in a quick succession of 50 milliseconds in between each. Also remembering to check while we're doing this if the button's being pressed, because we don't want to be stuck within this loop if we're trying to get out. And once again we break out to go to the start of the code. If we press the button for the 4th time, we will turn off all our LEDs and reset our press count back to 0, so we can start afresh back on 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then we break out to return to the top of the code.